Thank you very much for staying on the marketplace. Welcome back. Now, clearing agents are expressing worry about the new terminal handling charges still being charged by some shipping lines.
The terminal handling, the minister has directed that it should be halted effective the 2nd of September. And so we had to call this meeting and make it known to the press and, of course, the general public that we have a right to resist this charge, and that's exactly what we have to do. However, if because of timeliness, we need to take our cargo out, and we are being pressed upon by the shipping lines to pay, then we would have to do that under protest so that we can get a cargo out to avoid incurring other charges, and thereafter take the issue of a refund up.
Now, how can these shipping lines, blatantly disregard instructions of the transport minister? How many of them are involved, and what are your members saying about the charges?
It's surprising. It's surprising that shipping lines haven't representatives here who are incorporated in Ghana can just blatantly flout the minister's directive, and that is why we have made this known to the ministry so that the necessary action would be taken, because we are here in Ghana and it doesn't make meaning why an entity can just flout the minister's directive and go ahead and charge when actually the charge in itself is not justified in any way. So this is where the concern is.
Now, knowing for a fact that this instruction had come into force by the minister, why would your members also pay if they are demanding these charges?
You see, the nature of the process is such that until the shipping line releases your cargo, you don't have access to the cargo at the terminal. And when you go to the lines and you pay your charges, except for the terminal handling, they refuse to release the cargo. They insist that you pay the terminal handling charge before they release the cargo to you. And this is what is forcing shippers pay under process. Because at the end of the day, if you hold on to it, you would incur what we call demurrage or the container detention charge, which the shipping line take again. And then you are likely to also incur the ground rent or storage at the terminal. So we are forced to pay under process. But I think it's about time the ministry takes some kind of action, because I don't think the minister's word should be flouted blatantly like that. It shows disrespect. And we believe that this cannot be done in their home country.
Now, earlier when we spoke to you some time back, you told us that you were going to retrieve monies that have been wrongly charged by these shipping lines. Where have you gotten to with regards to this particular issue?
Some of the shippers who had initially made payments have put in a request for refund. We have applied, and we're still looking forward to how it's going to be acted upon. As we speak, some are still being forced to pay, and so even as of yesterday, some shippers had to pay under duress for the process, and immediately we are putting in the claim. And then based on the outcome, then we'll see the next line of action to take. And it's also a signal to government to act on it. Because the interesting part is that when the minister gave the directive, the chief of staff was copied. So we expect some action to be taken at that level.
All right. So are your members paying, are these charges invoiced as the right charges, as terminal handling charges, or are they paying under a different name altogether?
For now, the invoices we have received are under the name terminal handling charge or terminal handling service. These are the two names we have seen showing up. Right, and I must say there are about 5 shipping lines that are currently charging. We named them as MSC, CMECGM, Maersk Surf Marine, Intermodal Shipping Agency and Pacific International Lines, that's PIL.
Now, what explanations did they give you after confronting them about these charges?
Well, we have written to them. They haven't responded back. So we are waiting to receive the individual response, and then we'll pick it up.
All right. And do you have any response also from the Ministry of Transport after you made a complaint?
We haven't received a response yet, but we know they are working on it.
All right.
And we believe they will.
Thank you very much. We'll get back to you as and when we have more information. Adobia Isiama Abuaji is a spokesperson for key businesses at the ports. Now, one of Africa's wealthiest men, Dr. Chris Kirubi, is urging young entrepreneurs to consider joint ventures. He believes this is one easy way for startups and SMEs to create wealth and overcome the challenge of lack of finance. Dr. Kirubi is one of the main speakers at the Entrepreneur Solutions Summit ongoing at the La Palm Beach Hotel. Our correspondent Darryl Kwao is part of the summit, and he's joined us on the phone to give us some updates. Good afternoon, Darryl. All right, so we don't have Darryl now. We'll get back to Darryl when we have this. Let's take a short break here. Marketplace returns shortly. Welcome back to the marketplace. Now, Deputy Minister of Petroleum Benjamin Dagadu says cutting back on expenditure during times of reduced prices in oil might be challenging, especially considering that it might kick the budget out of gear. Let's hear what he says.
We have made some savings. You know, we signed the agreement, the PA, under some terms, oil prices and others. And then at that time, drilling costs were also very high. The rate, some $650,000 per day. But when the oil price went down, everybody had to squeeze himself. All the services companies will have to have a haircut. So once they had a haircut, we also have to benefit from it. So we will be looking at that later.
But have you communicated this to them?
No, we do, because Petroleum Commission approves every contract that they sign. So they know whichever contract they want to sign, they have to have approval from Petroleum Commission. So Petroleum Commission is following up on all those contracts and the reductions. What they have renegotiated, they have to pass it to us.
That's the Sankofa ENID.
Yeah, Sankofa.
But they just recently got a guarantee, the GMPC got a guarantee from the World Bank too.
Yeah, but World Bank is also part of it. So we'll revisit the PAs.
And what is your expectation if we revisit it?
In some of the contracts, we might get about 10%, some 20% reduction. So,
wow! And are we able to put that in value terms?
We have to look at the individual contracts.
So let me make a quick announcement.
This is the marketplace. Welcome back. Now, government has been charged to spend oil revenues responsibly at all times to enable it mitigate the negative impact a slowdown in commodity prices may have on the economy. This comes as most African countries like Ghana are said to be the hardest hit anytime there are uncertainties of oil prices on the international market, situation attributed to financial indiscipline currently. All right. Executive Director of the Africa Center for Energy Policy, Dr. Mohamed Amin Adam, says restricting government spending even in times of a price boom is critical for economic stability.
The last 2 years have seen many oil-producing countries suffering under the heavy weight of declining revenues as a result of the oil price shock. African producers have been the worst hit by this development, due largely in part to their less diversified economies, over dependence on oil revenues, lower tax effort, fiscal indiscipline, and corruption, among others. In spite of the lower benchmark prices of crude oil used by most of these countries in their national budgets, they have been compelled to make difficult fiscal adjustments which are not only unpopular with their people, but also affecting their macroeconomic outlook. For some countries, therefore, the oil price crash provided room for the introduction of tough fiscal measures. For example, the government of Nigeria in its 2016 budget outlined a plan to increase taxes and remove fuel subsidies. The government of Ghana imposed new taxes and levies on petroleum products and electricity and withdrew subsidies from petroleum. There are many other countries who are still faced with policy dilemmas, whilst their economies are suffocating from the oil squeeze. These fiscal measures are no doubt hurting the citizens and have put pressure on our incomes and living conditions. About the need to spend oil money efficiently and responsibly in spite of the lower oil prices is true for our countries today as it has always been during the periods of higher prices.
All right, still on the marketplace, and local printers are calling for a total ban, so to speak, on the importation of exercise books into the country. They say the Ghanaian producer is capable of producing the exercise books right here in Ghana, and I've been joined by the president of the Ghana Paper Converters Association, James Apia Beko, to tell us more about the press conference that was held this morning and the outcome of it. Good afternoon, sir. Welcome to the marketplace.
Good afternoon, thank you.
All right, now, what necessitated the press conference today?
Well, in the past few years and months, we've been talking about the removal of VAT and custom duties on raw materials for the production of exercise books.
Sure.
Indeed, in the past few months, the president signed the VAT Amendment Act that removed 17.5% on inputs for the production of exercise books.
Yeah.
And as a result, members of the association who are producing exercise books for the exercise book market have got to remove the 17.5% import
Duty?
VAT
Okay.
that they put on their sales. Or when they sell the exercise books, whoever buys pay 17.5%, that goes to government. That is no longer going to be the case. So exercise book prices are naturally dropping.
Okay. Now, so what is happening on the import front? I mean, importation of books, exercise books, and textbooks. Are you capable as an association to produce this right here in the country?
All right, let's say this. We have an influx of exercise books on our markets, especially at the beginning of the school year. And meanwhile, only 4 major exercise book producing companies in the country in 4 to 5 months can produce all the exercise book requirements of this country.
Everything here?
Everything in 4 months, if they are in full swing, producing at what they do best. They are able to produce all the exercise book needs of the entire country in between 4 and 5 months.
Which means there will not be any need for importation of books again.
Absolutely. What this means is that even if they were working full capacity for 4 to 5 months, the remaining 7 or so months of the year, they have nothing doing. Indeed, if others are filling in with imported exercise books, what that means is that it aggravates the potential, the unmet potential of the local printing industry in exercise books.
Let's talk about the quality. Some people believe that, you know, the papers or the books coming from abroad are quite, you know, glossy and they are of good quality as compared to yours here. What's your defense on that? Yes,
when it comes to quality, I must admit some of the covers of the imported exercise books are attractive. However, you would also want to look at the cultural impact these ones have on us. You see photographs of celebrities, you see photographs of some kinds of cartoon works and other arts that are not very, very known to the African child. What would it be like if your child came home and spoke to you about the culture of a foreign country whilst they know nothing about the Ghanaian food? So it is an aspect we can use exercise books and all books for that matter to train our children to know what the world is like, and indeed we want them to know what their home is like before we get to know about other things that others are using to indoctrinate our children. And so for now, because of the effectiveness of the removal of the taxes,
Yes.
people who belong to our association, who have been given the opportunity to import raw materials for the production of exercise books, deem it fit, and as a result, of course, that the VAT levied on raw materials that no longer exist. When there is no input VAT, there cannot be output VAT. And since there is no input VAT, the costs of the selling prices of exercise books are going down tremendously.
All right. Do you have any indication that government will totally give you that right to actually produce here in Ghana and ban importation, which, so to speak, you are calling for?
In fact, we all know that nothing comes for free. And for government to even consider removing the custom duty and the VAT means the calculations were looked at. What it means is that if you took out the non-payment of the 17.5% on inputs, what that means is that government is going to lose 17.5% on all raw materials that will be imported to produce exercise books. But what this means is that at the end of the day, industry is going to produce. And the bottom line is that when the figures are churned, government gains more than 17.5% that it loses on the payment of VAT on inputs.
Okay.
In other words, at the end of the day, it is a better return that the government is getting. That is why we managed, or we sat down and looked at the figures and realized that it's a better option to look at. That is the reason why we also are saying now that there is a remaining 5% on custom duty that must be removed. Indeed, Parliament passed the bill, and the President said it. The Minister of Finance also intimated that government is going to remove all VAT and custom duties on raw materials for the production of books. It was an administrative lapse that still keeps the 5% there. What we're saying is, if we took this one as a pilot, what we are doing now as a pilot, and spread it to the removal of the 5% left on custom duties, government is going to benefit all the more. I mean, the prices of books are going to go down. You as a parent can go onto the market, buy books at a better price, and also contribute to the economic activity of printing in the country.
Thank you very much. It's rightly said. And James Appiah Beku is the president of the Ghana Printers and
Paper Converters Association.
Printers and Paper Converters Association.
Yes.
All right. Thank you very much. Also, you out there for watching, and that will be it for the marketplace this afternoon. My name is Emmanuel Abuachi. You can always stay interactive by tweeting at Joy Business GH is a handle, and on Facebook, Joy Business is our page. For more business, log on to myjoyonline.com/business. Good afternoon and have a nice day.